Hey everybody. Well, if you are watching this video right now, that means the engine ran successfully. If not, well, then you're not going to be hearing me talk right now or seeing what's going on. Anyways, so I have not taken the engine out to run it yet since it's been mounted in the plane, but I wanted to take this opportunity because there was some curiosity on how I got everything hooked up for the engine, the custom exhaust and all that good stuff. So let's have a look-see. Of course, we got the onboard glow up here, which is running inside, fuel lines and everything there. I'm going to put shields on these so they don't chafe, but for the first initial run it's not going to be a big deal. All the openings for the fuel lines are good, so I'm not worried about those. And the Magnum, just like the OS, has a manual choke. So that's what that big hole in the side of my cowl is. Oh, excuse me. Because I got a tool that'll come in here and grab that so I can choke it with the cowl on, which is going to make starting a lot easier. So, to the exhaust. As you can see, it's still got the stock pipes that come off the front. But then we got these, I believe they're 3/8 copper plumbing tubing is all it is. And I have bent them into the shape that I desire. And these are those clamps that I bought that that's a heat resistant silicone. So these are really what's holding those on there. These hose clamps keep it tight, but if these were not supported anywhere, you could pull these off. So they're really being held on there by these clamps, and they hold them pretty good. And they're trimmed off at the back, which works good. The cowl, if you remember, the cowl has little relief cuts right here for them, so they're not going to stick down very far. And it's really a nice, clean setup. So, Steve, what do you think? You think this is going to work? I think so. I hope so. The reason I mounted the fuel tank, I can't remember if I went over this a while back. The fuel tank was supposed to sit all the way up against here. But the Magnum and the OS and the ASP have the carburetor pickup for your main fuel line down here. So if the fuel tank was up here, it would have to make a very sharp dive down and back up. So by having the front of the fuel tank further back here, the fuel line I was able to make a gradual bend to down and then up to the carburetor. So I think that is going to be beneficial. Two-line system. We have a vent, a fill, well, no, yeah, technically a three-line system. Vent, fill, and of course carburetor, and this is the drip for oil that's back in the gearbox. You could probably hear the gears in there. So a lot of unburned oil. Not only is it going to come out the exhaust, it's also going to run through this gearbox and out the bottom here. And these lines will sit out the bottom of the cowl like this. So a nice clean setup overall. Alright, let me get this thing readjusted and we'll take a peek on the inside. Hang on. Okay, now that we got her all flipped over, one more shot of this up here. It's just a nice clean setup. It just looks really good. And bending these was a bear to get them just right. That was a little bit of a chore, but not too bad. Alright, off to the good stuff. I can't remember if I showed the servo installation. It's very odd. As you can see, they are indeed mounted right side up in the airplane, but they're upside down to, a normal installation. That's just the way it worked out. It was kind of interesting getting the push rods hooked up once the servos were in there. But the nice thing is, because the servo arms are so close to the flooring in the cockpit area, the servo arm physically can't come off. So that's kind of a good thing. So that worked out well. As I stated before, this floor is removable. There's 4 screws. So if I needed to get to the inside of the cabin of the fuselage, it'd be 4 screws, remove some wiring, undo the receiver, and I can pull that floor out. So we got goodies that go to the wing, everything labeled. 2 switches for redundancy, 2 batteries for redundancy. If any kind of a redundancy setup goes into one thing anywhere, you've totally defeated the purpose of redundancy. So that's why I do it that way. It's never let me down. So why not? This is an older battery that still works just fine. I use these 1400s for like receiver packs for my smaller sport planes. But this is for the onboard glow. Connection right here. No need to strap them in there. This one's strapped in there because there's a lot of weight. This is a 2-stack receiver. This one is firmly held in there. So when I'm done flying, both batteries are removed and the plane is stored. Works good. And the FrSky R10 Pro, and this is not the SR10. This is just the regular R10. No stabilization, no gyro junk for me. Nope. Think the full-scale Swift had a gyro in it? I don't think so. So anyways, that's what we're looking at. Like I said, hopefully you're watching this right now. That means everything for the engine testing went well, because I am getting ready to take it outside. It is pushing 60 degrees. It's sunny. Heck yeah. Let's give it a whirl. Let's see if, well, yeah, hold on. Another shot of the push rods and everything. Nice clean setup, looks good. I like these control horns that just glue into the surface. I really like those. I might buy a whole bunch of those. Actually, I'll just buy the material and make my own. I really like that. So I brought the old blue canoe back down to the basement. It only had 2 flights last year at the first Warburton Classic event at Cards up in Lansing. And had some misfortune, some things fell apart. Mainly that. Some problems with the center section. Nothing serious, but to the point where I put the plane away for the rest of the season. So I want to fly it some more this year, so got to do some work on this. Always forget how big this thing is until I bring it down that little stairway. Ugh. Alright, so that's enough of this. Let's get all this stuff outside, see if this thing will fire. Well, spoiler alert, we just had it running. Seems to be running good. A couple little leaks up around the exhaust that I got to take care of, but I was kind of anticipating that. Other than that, so far so good. Let's get some more fuel through it. Well, so far so good. Purrs like a kitten. And yes, I know I'm in front of the prop. Don't worry, you're safe. holding a really good idle for being how new it is. But I'm also running a lot of oil too. I'm getting an equal amount of smoke out of both of the exhaust stacks, so that's a good thing. Got a really nice sound, really quiet, really quiet. Just like that. So, it is alive. All that work was not for nothing. The only spots that I'm getting fuel coming out where it shouldn't is right where these hose clamps are. They're just not getting very tight on there. So, I'm going to get some different style clamps. These ones here, they only tighten if there's another notch that can go. So, I got to see if I can just get a different clamp. And I'll put some of that high temp silicone up around there too. Other than that, it's really not going to hurt anything. It just makes a mess. Just kind of giving my exhaust stacks a tap here. What do you think?
It's good.
All right. Success. Later.